It's just Patreon.
Yeah.
We're doing media rundown. It just has a fancy name now.
We're live. We're here.
Oh, no, you just.
I
What if
just
I
did
say
it.
something wild to you?
What?
I said, what if I was saying something wild to you?
Oh, no. Hi, guys.
Hi,
Welcome.
everyone, to our
Politics
impromptu
Pops with Julesy.
and allegedly Stephanie.
We're gonna get a cute intro going, but we're making this a
Right.
public adventure. But this is a
This one's not
test
public,
run.
though.
This is a
Yes.
well, technically it is, but
Well, yeah, but
it's
nobody
not.
knows besides
Yeah,
y'all.
we haven't promoted it anywhere.
I'm excited. We've basically rebranded Media Rundown, which was our YouTube series that ran successfully, in my opinion, for
On
3 months
Patreon.
on Patreon. So now this will be public. So Julesy made our very cute branding, as you can see, and we'll be live streaming on Twitch, which the Wild West of that will be interesting, and YouTube. So we'll simultaneously stream on both. So yeah.
Wait. I think I need to update something. I'm sorry, and see,
Oh,
this is
let's say, because I hear me.
why we're doing a test run because
Yes.
it's a new YouTube channel, and I have not set up a YouTube channel in like 14 years. So I don't know what permissions you have to give. Watch on YouTube. Playback on other websites has been disabled.
Ooh. Does that mean? Hey, Fran. Hi, Somonachi. Listen, I feel like this time 9:30 is good. So it would be Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9:30. So when you clocking into them people's job, we'll be here.
And so this is our first time streaming because we're gonna stream to Twitch, and to
YouTube.
yes.
Do you want me to check anything? Let me know.
Ooh, allow third-party companies to train AI models using my channel.
No. No.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Hey, Brittany. So they can steal our cute faces?
Wow.
Yeah. The social media streets are getting very interesting with the AI training.
Okay, this is so interesting. All right, maybe we should just start talking about something. And now people will click the YouTube link because now I have to verify. This is so interesting. I have to
Oh, you have
verify
to verify our account?
that I'm a human being. Yes.
I mean, I'm glad they're doing that. I'm glad that safeguard is there.
By doing a 6-second video.
Oh, we have steps. Oh, okay.
Open your. I gotta get my phone.
Or you can send it to mine. Mine's right here too.
It says I have
Yeah,
to scan this QR code. Guys, you can.
Oh.
Okay.
Are we live on Twitch right now too?
Yes.
Us figuring out Twitch is gonna make me laugh. I guess you know what I'm realizing? One of us should man the Twitch and the other one should man YouTube. I don't think there's anybody on Twitch right now since we didn't promote it, so we don't have to do it today. But for Monday.
Like, what else are we doing? Keep going
I
until
mean,
the chat turns green. Oh, up. Oh.
just say yes, I am a human.
Oh. Wait. Keep your face in the center of the circle.
Oh.
Keep going until. Oh, my face.
I feel like watching this live, people tuning in are like, what are they
24
doing?
hours for review? Oh,
But
y'all.
wait, but it allowed us to, but we're streaming it. I'm confused.
We're streaming, but I gotta figure out. Okay, done. We did it. Video verification.
Because the link is working because people are here.
Create more. Oh, you can't embed it though.
Oh, does it
That's
view
an advanced
streaming?
feature until I cannot embed the live on Patreon. So y'all have to click the link, obviously, but I can't embed. Well, we'll post the replay anyway because that's fine. That's fine. I
Okay.
cannot embed the live. We cannot embed the live on Patreon because we have to now get video verification. That valid ID or channel history, I don't know.
Oh, interesting. So how is it streaming right now? It's technically embedded in Patreon. We
Is it
won't ask
because
questions.
it says no video playback and it tells you have to watch the video in YouTube?
Oh, I see. Like you couldn't watch in the Patreon app. Okay, that's fine. That's okay for now. This is why you have test runs.
Yeah. So we'll be up and running by next week.
Yes. On Monday, it will be fine. Okay, yes, they're saying when I opened it, it advised that I will have to view on YouTube. Okay, got it. A new learning.
I got to work on my passive voice. I'm always like, and my grammar. My grammar. This is okay. Never mind.
Listen, I'm proud of us.
Can we earn?
y'all
No, we
know
can't earn
I'm
money.
technologically challenged, so there's that.
Before you apply, set up two-step verification. Y'all hoes is killing me. It used to never be this hard.
Now they have like whole bot accounts,
Oh, we have
whole
4
gender.
subscribers to the channel.
Yay! Oh yeah, that was a good time. Y'all should subscribe to the YouTube, please. Also, it's free to subscribe to Twitch. Learning Twitch has been interesting. We've been doing this for like a week trying to figure this out. Let me pull up my notes for my dear friend who is on Twitch. Where are my notes? Okay, graphic, quick actions, primary screen, collection and playlist.
Oh, and we still have the other. Wait.
Because there's a free, you can follow somebody for free on Twitch. The way their naming nomenclature is different. You don't actually have to pay for Twitch. So
Okay.
if for some reason you want to go on there and you're already on there, sure.
Well, welcome to the Politics Pops with allegedly Stephanie and Julesy myself, where we discuss the live news every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9:30 on a journey to make me a morning person.
I was like, on a journey to what? To find clarity in this nonsense? Okay.
Oh yeah, we fascinating times. Plug something.
Hold on, the mic sounds, yeah,
Oh no,
it changed something.
it's back in. Okay, we're back. Like a heart attack.
Okay, good.
And yeah, we're headed into the crazy times. So this is our way.
We are.
And we're gonna watch Stephanie.
Yes.
Your tan is tanning today, actually. I'll give you a.
You know what it is? I was gonna say because you didn't want to give it to me on Wednesday, and I was like, I really detest that you don't want to let me acknowledge that I'm my correct shade right now. Now that my winter shade,
I did not attest. I said you were not brown.
I'm not beige.
Very red bone.
Fine.
Blame it on your ancestors. Embarrassed.
I guess.
Okay. Okay.
What was I going to tell you? Yes, my winter shade doesn't fit. And I was like, yes, I'm actually my correct complexion right now. Shout out to Colombia and to Cartagena. I went for New Year's with Babe and friends. And it was lovely. Also, if you're ever interested in going to Cartagena, very black. I was very happily surprised, very Caribbean. I was like, wow, this is a lovely place. Went to Palenque, which is the first town in all of the Americas where enslaved Africans got their freedom, aka fought for their freedom, maintained their freedom from the 1700s. So shout out to the people of Palenque.
You know what?
Great
This
place.
is a morning show. It's a live news morning show.
Yes.
With allegedly Stephanie and Chelsea. Okay. It is.
We're working. This is a good test run. This is a good test run with y'all.
I get up and go to the gym beforehand. And look, I have makeup on. This is a very big deal. And it's not even 10 a.m.
It's not. It's 9:51. We're on time as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Today is January 17th. which we went
Yes.
to kick off this show. Oh, this is an Instagram link.
It is. It is. It is. It's to working class history. Because working class history is doing the labor of memorializing working class history.
Yeah, yeah,
And I really
yeah. I
enjoy
thought
that
it was
work.
going to be like a news story, but here we are in honor of Patrice Lumumba, who was assassinated on January 17th, 1961 by what is it? In collusion, in collaboration between the
Mm.
French, Belgium, and American government.
Yes. And I would say there probably was a sprinkling of British imperialism in there. They are not initializing everybody's business.
Yes, the colonial powers came against a
Mhm.
liberatory politician in what was formerly
Yes.
Zaire and now is a Democratic Republic of Congo,
Yes.
and
And he
said
was the
that
first democratically nominated. Mhm.
was he the prime minister? Yeah, he was the prime minister.
He was the prime minister. Yes, correct. First democratically nominated prime minister in the entire continent. And he was for not only the liberation of the DRC, but of the entire continent. And he was very, a big proponent of natural resources belonging to Africans, since, it is their continent and not the colonial powers that be. So the colonial powers that be did not like that.
He leaves behind an amazing legacy that was cut far too early, and that unfortunately fully sent the Democratic Republic of Congo into a devastation and tailspin that has lasted through 2024. We are
Yes.
60 years removed,
Hmm.
and it's just very frustrating for such a resource rich country with such a deep and powerful history of a multitude of countries and ethnic groups that come from that region to not be able to benefit from their own land, from their own history, and how just deeply disenfranchised and violently tortured these people have been for so many decades. So there's a really good documentary. You know, my first college roommate, well, not my first black college roommate, shout out to Leticia, who had a big Zaire flag. She's Congolese.
Hey!
Yes. And we watched because a lot of at that time in like the early 2000s, a lot of information about Lumumba was almost completely in French. But we
Hmm.
watched a French documentary together, and that really kind of just opened my eyes to the world. I was like, "Wow, girl, wow!" And now
Yes.
my old college roommate is deeply entrenched in prosperity preaching. But shout out to her for putting me onto some radical politics. She married, and I'm kind of surprised. Her husband's from Burkina Faso, and we're like Facebook friends. So I'm always checking to see if they ever talk about like they ever do posts about like what's happening and like
Mhm.
they up in Boston in the church.
The church is the root of a lot of problems. It is interesting now, in the DRC is your of their natural resources, which are used to make a lot of our technology. So, I would say, practical way that we can help is instead of buying new technology, you can get a refurbished phone, and they work just as good. This one I got over holiday break. This is refurbished, and it's working. So that's good. And then you are less contributing less to the issue. And then also, I would say one of the positives that's currently happening in Central and West Africa is the majority of these countries now are giving the big FU to their former colonizer, which is France. So seeing the French Empire fully decay in our lifetime is likely to happen. And I'm super excited and cheering that on. So speaking of Burkina Faso, which you brought up.
Yeah, I would love to dig more into politically what's happening, but it's still I'm kind of surprised like 20 years later that the news from francophone Africa is still so hard to get a hold of, largely because of a barrier.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit frustrating. Yeah. All right. Our next post is this was a Stephanie Poole. The storm battered town.
Hello.
This storm battered town from ProPublica. This storm battered town voted for Trump. He has vowed to overturn the law that could fix its home.
Yes. And I pulled this because now that, unfortunately, the inevitable is happening on Monday, which is he is coming back into power because the DNC lost the election and completely fumbled that. Shout out to Julesy and her interview of Ested Hurden. If you haven't watched it, since Patreon is here and my Patreon is here, I highly recommend subscribing to her Patreon if you haven't already to watch the interview. I finished it this morning. Excellent interview. And because we are here now, one of the things I think Ested did a great job of pointing out was we are now in our own silos that we don't talk to other people. And one of the things that we're missing is like, why did all these people who don't benefit from anything really from Trump, why are they voting for him? And unfortunately for them, consequences are now coming directly to them. So he is most likely, and he has been campaigning that he is going to undo the Inflation Reduction Act. And he has referred to the act as the new green scam, according to ProPublica. And essentially, a lot of these red towns in these red states, they have been the biggest beneficiaries of the Inflation Reduction Act. So, according to the article, Nevada, Wyoming, Kentucky, and Georgia have seen the biggest jumps in clean energy investment. Texas also received $69 billion in clean investment since the law passed, second only to the state of California. And now, if he overturns this Inflation Reduction Act, these people are going to be not only losing money, but it's going to be impacting like their way of life rather directly. And that's likely because he is basically going to undo everything from the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, which climate change, as we've seen now with what's going on with the LA wildfires, climate change is here. This is not like, oh, in a few years we're going to have, what were they trying to call people? Climate refugees. We're having climate refugees now throughout the global south. You see people having to move. Should be noted the global south barely um, contributes to climate change, but they are the number one set of people and demographics in terms of being affected first. It's also going to move through the United States rather quickly as well. So
Yeah.
now, how do we tell these people that, this is what's happening because they voted this way? I think that is a quandary as well.
I'm really not looking forward to the re-upping of this cycle of dunking on people who voted for Trump and their loss in the next 4 years. Is it rage baiting the creators that largely exist on TikToks that yell at MAGA folks, that yell and look at you, and you're not getting service to any of these white people. And this is not how we.
Because they don't care, which is it's wild, but they don't care. It's like we need a different tactic.
This is not how we bring people over to changing their politic. It's not by dunking on them. And I think, if anything, we do have to interrogate the reasons that led people down this pathway to vote for Trump. Is it simply indoctrination? Is it simply a thing of like media and propaganda? Is there something else happening? Because also, like, are the Democrats doing enough?
And I think from the perspective that I think about and that we talked about on Media Rundown the entire time, I was like, the Democrats are failing colossally for no reason. Like, is it laziness? Like, what is it? And I think maybe focusing on what either the Democrats or a new party can do, because I think we've watched the institutional failure of the Democrats. I don't personally think that they can rebound from such a giant failure for no reason. Um, and trying to convince us all that the economy was good, that Joe Biden wasn't old, like all these things that everyone just kind of looked at them was like, are we in the same planet? Like, what is happening? I think maybe focusing on how to restructure that might be a better use of time than figuring out like the why of these people's motivations. Because my opinion is the why is deep rooted racism. And they think that Trump, even though he hasn't been for them, is some type of white savior, even
I
though
think
he's
Trump is
not for
also
them.
really good at communication. I think Trump is really good at media. I think he's really good at speaking to an audience. And I mean, because honestly, y'all know I spend way too much time on TikTok, but like watching Black women and that Black American women and that sort of ecosystem on TikTok and how it's evolved with the election and after the
Mm.
election, and how many people get up and say the craziest shit and then put it under the guise of, well, we're black women and they're the 92%. So like whatever.
Mhm.
Like saying, well, after the election, fuck Palestinians. I can't wait to go buy digital property in Gaza while drinking at Starbucks. And you have people like, yeah, 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 girl. Like that entire reaction was just so debased when you are mad at a political system
Mhm.
and a Democratic Party that did not aptly support Kamala. They treated her like a liability as
Mhm.
VP. Waited, like, come on, we all saw what happened. The
Yeah,
Democrats, the institution of Democrats, did not properly support her as a presidential candidate.
not at all.
And we're
And
telling
gave her 3 months.
people that are literally because a handful of content creators said something we don't like. The TikTok outrage cycle produced an outrage. And it's like, I think Trump also speaks in this similar way that like we are so trained to absorb on social media. Say what I want to hear,
Yeah, echo chamber.
you know,
And yeah,
redirect a sort of a certain politic and be like, yeah, 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 too many immigrants. Black people do need access to college.
it's gonna be a long 4 years. It's gonna be a long 4 years, and not just 4 years. It's gonna be a long 2 decades.
I do think we all, in a way, are kind of being radicalized. I think, well, not radicalized. I think we all, in a way, if we are people who are very embedded into social media, have to do a lot of work to not get sucked into an echo chamber.
Yeah, because social media, as we've seen, is not indicative of real life sometimes. And particularly, I think this election cycle showed that as well, whereas certain parts of social media were convinced that she was going to win because how could the Democrats not win? Which was interesting, an interesting take. And then also, I think because the silos allowed people to just talk in circles around each other, people largely ignored this demographic. So, I do think it is on white people to ask their fellow, white people, like, hey, why did you do this? What do you need? Who is not listening to you? Because trying to use immigrants at this as the scapegoat, black people as the scapegoat, never will get to the root of the problem. Which the root of the problem is that all these systems are failing
Mm-hmm.
because they're defunded. What are you eating?
Boiled egg. I gotta get my and y'all.
Yes.
All right, moving on to the next topic. Oh, we were already talking about TikTok, so
This is a good segue.
here we go. I mean, I thought it's 10 a.m. It's
It's
10
10
a.m.
o'clock.
What has the news said?
Let's see if the news has changed. I don't think so. So what I was seeing was two conflicting. Now let's see. Now they're seeing if Trump might try to circumvent it. So this is a third theory, which is interesting. The first theory was that because the U.S. government passed the law, they will be forcing the sale of TikTok. It is illegal under Chinese laws for Chinese companies to sell proprietary Chinese tech, so they were never going to sell TikTok. Um, the first thought was that potentially the app would still run. You just wouldn't be able to download new downloads of the app. And then they wouldn't be allowed to make updates to the app. So eventually it would become obsolete in a couple of months. Then there were reports like this one from Reuters, which said, oh, you know what? TikTok is, depending on your views of it, rightfully choosing a pettier route, and they're just going to turn the entirety of the app off in the United States on Sunday. So that's also a possibility. That I think is interesting just because it would show American hypocrisy of America likes to pretend that every other country is pushing propaganda, is participating in censorship, where America also does do these things as well. So I think that was an interesting strategy. And then right now, 2 hours ago, The Guardian posted, can Donald Trump circumvent a TikTok ban? Which he has been cozying up to the owners of ByteDance, and basically TikTok allowed rampant amounts of misinformation on the app during the election in hopes of getting him to side with the app, so that way he could come in and see, like, look what awful Joe did. See, I allow these things. So Your guess is as good as mine, but I think the app might be going away on Sunday. Might be back on Monday is what they're saying when he gets sworn in on MLK Day. I think it'll be interesting.
I'm ambivalent. I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm just ambivalent from the perspective of the decline of the creator community, the creator economy overall in the past 4 years. How much of that is to blame on TikTok? How much of that is to just blame on late stage capitalism? And I just don't know that whether TikTok survives or not. Well, I think whether or not TikTok survives, we are in for an even further decline of the creator economy.
Mhm. Yes, I agree. I just plugged my phone in, so my mic isn't in. So sorry, the audio doesn't sound like this for
We
10
got
minutes.
upgrade
Um,
equipment.
we are we're slowly. This is a test run.
This is a test. Yeah, I do need to do
um,
a YouTube video on the decline. Like YouTube has a problem because everyone's coming to YouTube now, but where's the creator
and
program?
YouTube has realized, we were talking about this earlier, YouTube itself has realized, wait, they've done such a great job at marketing the job of a creator and the job of an influencer, and they've made it so vague. And because this is a highlight reel, you get paid to put your makeup on and, be happy and show whatever, niche you're showing, that it has now attracted people to what is objectively a gig economy, that people will come to YouTube even if YouTube is not giving out the things that their favorite creator used to get. So I've been a beneficiary of some of the programs at YouTube that I'm slowly reaching out to YouTube corporate, and they're like, "Yeah, girl, I don't think we're gonna do that this year." And I'm like, "Oh, but I would like some money, please." The YouTube Black program, I didn't apply to that one. I wish I would have. That
I
was
didn't
giving
apply
creators,
either. I was the first one to get it.
and she's legally not allowed to say how much money she received. I signed no contract. Okay. Yeah. They were giving out 50K, that's a good chunk of change. That doesn't exist anymore.
It's $50,000 the first year, plus we got money for BH photos, and then I think it went down to 25, maybe a year or two later.
So the last year they did it, it was still 50. Because
Okay.
I one of my subscribers, she started her own channel and she got it as well. And I was like, oh, good for you. And they took them to Kenya. I was like, oh, extra good for y'all. I love
For
Kenya.
YouTube Black,
YouTube Black
we
took the
did
last
not go
cohort
to
to Kenya.
Kenya. Ah,
Flew them first class. It was great.
we went
I was so
to
happy for them.
Atlanta.
Oh,
It was a good time. I will say that was when Lauren still worked there. Maybe they had a Waffle House food truck. We went to the Trap Museum.
the Waffle House was
It was a lot of South African creators.
interesting.
There were a handful of creators from the continent overall,
Interesting.
but
Interesting.
the most of the ones that showed up in person were South African.
Hmm.
Sky Jackson was there. I'm like trying to remember why, because I had an feeling, and it wasn't because they were South African. It was there was a little click with them and Sky, and it was just messy. But it turns out the lore that I've learned from TikTok is Sky is in fact just messy.
I know nothing about this. I know nothing about
But
this.
it was a good time. Do we have any other that? Oh wait, the yes, the ceasefire.
Yes, which I'm not gonna lie, it did. This is Friday morning. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold. Don't run in the snow. It's a bad idea. Um,
Second.
it did pass this morning. Israel did agree to a ceasefire on Gaza. However, I think it should be noted they renege, they lie, they continue to bomb Palestine over and over and over again. And what they are currently proposing was a 6 week ceasefire and not a full ceasefire, and also not necessarily liberation for Palestine. So I think we can all watch that with bated breath.
Oh, apparently there's one new update. So let's look at what New York
Oh,
Times is reporting
come on,
as
update.
new update.
Oh,
Okay.
this is giving live news.
World Health Organization looking to rebuild medical services as aid into Gaza increases. I wonder how much money was made and who made it.
On the destruction.
Mm.
On
Who's the
there,
coffers
so much
filled
money.
from this sort of this heightened violence and death? Who
There's
profited?
also there was also so speaking of who profited, because I know a lot of people are talking about like, oh, they're going to build resorts because it's beachfront property. The other insidious thing is that they have estimated that there is oil in that area as well. So the big oil companies are now fighting over the rights for what is Palestinian property to that oil as well. So I would say the oil and gas sector profited. Our what is the proper term for the warmongers? What is that sector called? Arms defense. They call it defense, which I find fascinating that it's called defense when they're never defending themselves. They're actively colonizing and aggressing people. Our Department of Defense used to be called the Ministry of War, which is more correct to call it the Ministry of War because that's what it's doing. The defense sector definitely benefited, as well as the tech sector has benefited from the fact that Israel has for many years used Palestine and Gaza specifically as a testing ground for new facial recognition technology, any type of tech that you would use, surveillance technology, things like that are often tested on the Palestinian population. So, unfortunately, those would be my guesses of who has made untold amounts of money on the suffering of others and the theft of their homeland.
Mm, um, I hope
And
that the
Netanyahu is
ceasefire
wanted.
is meaningful because it's just like a hundred and something day pause.
Yes. So it's not, which is it's very wild to hear that. It's like you're gonna pause and then go back to terrorizing these people who are not doing anything to you and who have now forced them out of their homes. I think it's over 90% of the homes in Gaza now have been destroyed. Um, to which you have very tone deaf celebrities comparing. I was Jamie Lee Curtis compared LA. She's like, it looks like those war torn places like Gaza, which is normalizing the destruction of a place that shouldn't be normalized.
Hmm. And I'm trying to see what Al Jazeera has to say about the ceasefire.
Oh yeah, Al Jazeera is much more, at least what they're posting on social media, Israel lies. We are unimpressed by this. They're continuing to lie.
Yes, it's saying that Israel has killed more than 46,876 Palestinians and wounded 110,642 since October 7th,
Mhm.
2023. That is a year and a half.
Yes. And I believe Al Jazeera also posted that on the day the ceasefire was announced, as if it was almost signed, that Israel killed 81 Palestinians that day alone. So, unfortunately. And then I would say on the other side of that, Al Jazeera has also posted the understandable excitement and hopefulness of Palestinians in Gaza when they heard the news of like, hey, we're hoping, that this will end. So,
Yeah, and
um,
Israel is very good at breaking ceasefires and making it appear that it wasn't its fault. Marav Zonzan, an expert on Israel Palestine with the International Crisis Group. I should look up how to pronounce that person's name. That's an interesting name.
yeah,
I
I have
I
to
just
take
I don't know
this
what to expect under a Trump Netanyahu.
collaboration. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
frying.
I'd be donating. I donate almost weekly at this point. I have a homegirl who's very embedded into raising funds for people in Gaza, for Palestinian people, and that's what I can do at this point. And I email my Congress people.
Oh, me and my
And
congressperson
it feels
can
so
get in touch with
hopeless,
me.
but I hope that like Palestinians really do get like even just a moment of peace from this,
I hope so too.
because I just do not trust Netanyahu
No,
at all.
no, no. It is also interesting that because the ICJ issued an arrest warrant for him, that he now is basically not allowed to travel into certain places because they have stated they will arrest him. Um, which at this point, I don't know if it is just the appearance of we're trying or if we should take that as a signal of like this is slowly moving in the right direction. But when people are literally dying, we don't have time for slowly moving in the right direction. So, That's a wrap. Fran had a good question. I wonder how bad Israel's economy is because the majority of their money comes from selling weapons and cybersecurity technology and training other militia and police forces. This is a great question, and I saw. Oh, to cite my sources, I don't think it was Democracy Now. I think it was it More Perfect Union. No, they usually don't do international. And maybe it was Democracy Now. Had posted like a month or so ago that basically Israel receives a lot of venture capital money from tech firms because they are, to Fran's point, making a lot of money from cybersecurity technology. They had released last year, maybe October, November, that a lot of those companies had basically shuttered, that they couldn't do any hiring because a lot of Israeli citizens themselves have fled Israel, because that's not their first place of citizenship to begin with. Just put that out there. It's a lot amount of Long Islanders that somehow are over there. And a lot of the venture capital companies have stopped investing in Israeli cybersecurity, at least for now, because they view, not that they are morally caring of what is happening to Palestinians, they just view it as a bad investment. Of, well, if you have created a war zone, how are you then going to deliver on this product that I'm investing in? Which was very interesting, and I think can be taken as their economy
They're saying
is.
TikTok is banned. No,
That's
no,
crazy.
it's
You
wrong,
heard it
wrong.
live.
No, hold on. Let me check. Let me check. I'm sorry. You.
Rules in favor of TikTok
Oh
ban.
my
Yeah. Yeah.
gosh.
Supreme Court
Well,
ruled.
well. Am I getting paid for January? Good thing I ain't really post that much. Fuck them hoes.
Yeah. I
Wow.
mean, that's what it seemed like they were going to rule.
Justice is back. What was a unanimous decision?
Katanji said, no more of that.
Unanimous?
Listen, I think this is the TikTok. I would like to preface and say TikTok is full of issues, and yet this is a giant censorship issue. This is a giant censorship issue. Because it has nothing to do with them being a Chinese company, in my opinion. Meta is Zuckerberg has been in Congress so many times because he's admitted to stealing our information. US companies are stealing our data on a daily basis. And I've never been a big fan of the Tiki Talk. However, oh Lord, we entering into overt fascism?
Girl,
Oh no.
entering. What? We're like 10 years out of pipeline. What?
Oh no. They said we would like y'all to know that we are doing
The
censorship.
decision came a week after the justices heard the First Amendment challenge. Here's the latest rule. The Supreme Court ruled against TikTok on Friday, rejecting the social media company's First Amendment challenge. Why didn't they do?
I'm gonna get a tissue really quick. 2 seconds for my nose falls
You
off.
want to know my constitutional law? Baby, no. I feel like it's another amendment they could have challenged. First, freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech is First Amendment, yes.
I know, but like that seems like I'm gonna hold. I didn't watch. I was not that invested in this because it's right back to YouTube for me. Woo! But wow.
Yeah. Oh, I know my little sisters are crying. Let me text them. The
And
kids are raised.
but
Listen,
like, what's the point of an executive ban if both presidents are the reason that this TikTok ban got off the ground? Trump introduced the ban under his administration that didn't go anywhere. President Biden signed the law last spring after it passed Congress with wide bipartisan support.
it's almost like it's two sides of the same coin. Oh,
I personally think there's no good guy in this Supreme Court case. This is not
no.
um what's
I
the
think
one.
it was no, because TikTok is not some innocent company either. Of like, oh, this is a benevolent company. That is there such a thing? But like, they are also doing foolishness. I do think this overt showing of censorship though is something we should all be like, oh, particularly after Congress, or actually the FTC, I think would be better to place blame because the FTC is in charge of antitrust, allowed Elon Musk to buy Twitter and him then to purposely ruin that app. That was the first fall of free speech, in my opinion.
I am just shocked that it was unanimous.
I'm not shocked. Like, if you look at the
You
questions that, Justice Jackson asked, I was like, "Ooh, okay, girl." I was like, "Well, we know how this is going."
I want to. I'm trying to get you. I didn't mean to go to status block. That's something I read.
No, you're fine.
Uh, let's just see. New.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
well,
trying to
if you do the, ruling,
a new makes it.
Latoya has a great point. So the Supreme Court is a hypocrite with the Google and Facebook lawsuits. Didn't they rule in their favor? I believe so.
Well, I mean, part of the
It
reason
it
why you
depends.
a little like part of the reason why you do not have as powerful as an algorithm specifically on YouTube is there were congressional hearings. There were no I don't know what lawsuits were there were about specifically about the ability to maintain the algorithm because in 2017, 2016, YouTube in particular was being accused of radicalizing white boys into neo-Nazism,
Mhm.
allowing subversive child pornography on the website. And there were congressional hearings for Facebook around Cambridge Analytica.
Mhm.
I
Which
think
went nowhere.
Meta has done a lot to kind of fight back and like have whatever algorithm they want to have. But YouTube in particular, because so many advertisers into changed the algorithm and it stopped servicing content that was so precise to the user of the app.
I can't remember. So the case that actually went to the Supreme Court, I believe, has to do with. Let me find it before I misspeak, because the case is actually about a Middle Eastern man, the one from last year that went to the Supreme Court, but I don't remember exactly how that panned out. But essentially, I believe the Supreme Court sided with Google, which was like very interesting. YouTube's algorithm has, I would say, more recently been shown where they are also radicalizing young men as well, like through all that manosphere content. But it is not as, I don't think it's as overt to your point. But they definitely, YouTube hasn't gotten in as much trouble as they should have, where they allow the content to continuously be hosted. Like Fresh and Fit, it took them forever to like deplatform them. YouTube will allow the content to sit there on the platform for so long. And I think that is the harm in it. But YouTube hasn't gotten any, I don't think they've really gotten any concrete ruling saying like, hey, you need to have more, you need to have better moderation, but they have taken it upon themselves where YouTube does have seemingly, at least in policy, better moderation
Well,
than the
that again
these
was
apps.
because of corporate advertisers. That was specific. That's why they changed that whole kids thing,
Yeah.
and it really hurt family channels monetarily. But they rolled
Mhm.
out protections for YouTube Kids because of advertisers threatening to leave over pornography and pedophilia accusations. It's
Mhm.
always about it's always capitalism. It's
It's
not
about the
about
money.
integrity to the creator and integrity to the viewer. It is simply about it's almost always about the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you
Oh, I would say this is negative to the point that we brought up, to bring it home in the end, to the point that you brought up in the beginning about how TikTok has negatively influenced the creator economy. This is negative, this ban to the creator economy specifically, taking out the other things, because now YouTube has no reason to provide the services it should to creators. Because they know, all of these people from
wow.
TikTok, they're like, well, they're going
I
somewhere.
thought if TikTok stayed around, I don't know. I thought either way it was going to be bad. If TikTok stayed
Mhm.
around, I don't know. I don't know,
Child.
but more people flocking to the website does mean you are. Oh, because that's what I was going to say about moderation. Hold on, because I was like, there's another point I want to make. YouTube changed up their moderation and made it more robust because of advertisers like Verizon, like advertisers that were like 60% of their budget threatened to remove themselves from the platform over the pedophilia and pornography accusations.
Hmm.
COVID then happened. They have been dismantling their human moderation team, shipping
Hmm.
it over to the Southeast Asia, paying people very, very little, and they're absorbing so much trauma on an
Yes, because they also sued. Hmm.
and then they've been moving it over to AI. And that's what I'm saying. Is TikTok just the problem? Because we had all these creator funds, and then TikTok came around, and everybody was a creator on there, and they started defunding creator programs. And then, with the clear signal that Biden was not going to last 2 terms in the White House, they just started them dismantling their diversity programs
Yeah.
outright.
YouTube Black only exists in logo at YouTube now.
Yeah,
We'll be there.
all the and then they pivoted towards competing
Mm,
with TikTok on a product level, which is when they started rolling out YouTube Shorts, which does not pay anything, and
yeah.
it's literally just about discoverability. And that's when I told that lady, I was like, "Nigga, please," on the call, and I had to catch myself. And then she filed a complaint with HR, but I'm not an employee.
Not you aggressing the Google, good corporate employees of the Googly.
Because it was just so egregious. It was like, I've told the story before. It was 10 like OG in the trenches YouTube creators that have been doing this for a long time, and for you to sit there and be like, aren't you excited about discoverability and exposure?
It also doesn't, the discoverability doesn't work on it either. So it's a crock of nonsense.
Like, what if Viola Davis repost, like, girl, the fuck are you like, I should not have called her a nigga, but I said it was I was wrong.
Maybe she needed to hear that. Maybe she was a little removed.
It just happened so because I was just like watching. I was like watching the presentation. I was like, I cannot believe this. And we were actually having an exchange, and she just kept trying to push me about the exposure component of this because I was like, okay, well, what's the revenue share? And
For
what's
context,
the revenue share?
you get like
What about
4 cents
exposure?
per
I
thousand
was like,
views.
nigga, please don't do me. I get a
No,
little too comfortable. Anyhow, so now that TikTok is going to be gone and people are rushing to YouTube, I think we might get out of the creator's economy slump a little quicker.
do you think?
Possibly, yes.
Okay, so let's go down this thread of thoughts. I think, and I feel really sad for these people. And I did try anybody I came into contact with. I was like 2 years ago. I was like, hey, TikTok is cute. However, they don't, you're telling me they don't pay y'all. There's no actual there's no human being you can speak to at TikTok. They're demonetizing you. They don't have any policies, etc. You should get on YouTube. I think a lot of the TikTok creators are going to have a very hard time on YouTube. And I think because it's very stark differences in terms of what people want to watch on YouTube. People on YouTube, listen, I love that people have forced me to be somewhat technologically savvy and a little bit better. But people don't take janky quality on YouTube. They will read you out. It's not like, oh, we're on FaceTime on TikTok. I think the quality, like if you've been on YouTube longer, maybe it'll benefit people. So maybe that will help. I don't think the creators on TikTok are gonna have an easy time though, in terms of the creator economy, maybe getting
Oh,
better.
you know what? Look, don't shoot me. We're gonna take down this live from not from Patreon, but from the YouTube and clip it up. We're gonna take this part out. The creator cleanse. Y'all bitches ain't gonna survive on YouTube. My haters, all y'all.
See how I said it so much nicer, and here you go, couthless.
Oh my gosh! Y'all come
No,
on
Lord.
over. Come on over to the long form and let's see who does it better. I welcome you.
Oh, we're supposed to be talking about the news.
This is the news. TikTok is better.
Josie said the news is my hater's demise is happening. That is the news.
Okay, but
Lord.
CNN is saying it was an unsigned opinion and there were no noted dissents, which is why it's being reported as unanimous.
Yeah. Wow. 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 Wowzers. Oh.
It
This
might
is
be better for the people.
I think, you know what, if I'm gonna be on the other side, I do think there's something to say. And I'm not, people love to poke at poor Gen Z. I'm talking about every age range, from the boomers to the silent generation, because they are also on Facebook, to we the millennials, to Gen Alpha, to Gen Z. That short form algorithm has ruined all of our attention spans. So I do think, because nobody's scrolling on shorts for that long, it's the UX is ugly. Like the YouTube really needs to fix the UI and the user experience for shorts. I think this will, on a positive end, get our attention spans back a little bit. I think so. So there's a positive.
And I'm like, all the cooking people are on Pinterest. They all have blogs. I like
Mm.
Moya Ban, the Arab girl, not the one that does the very dramatic cooking videos. Oh, I just used one of her recipes last night. I literally go on
Ooh.
these because they make more money when you go to their blogs.
Oh yeah, the
Moya Ban,
blogs are running Google ads. They're running great money.
yeah, more Mori. This girl, hold on, I can just show it right here. I really like her. She's a little. I check her. I don't
Ooh,
check her
this looks
TikTok. I
good.
found her on TikTok, but I regularly check
More of
her
I'm
blog.
just, this looks yum yum.
A silly glam. My homegirl Natasha Green. She was before she blew up on TikTok, but
More
awesome.
ABI.
Yeah, I use for my because like I could twist some of her recipes to be healthy for like my meal plan or whatever.
Mhm.
I do think, yeah, YouTube is going to be flooded with new creators, but maybe that will force YouTube to get back into its bag of more content creator programming because more creators is more problems. And when they and so trust they gonna get called out for something. They gonna get I'm gonna be
Mm.
like, look, y'all owe me a good chunk of change anyway. Hire me, ho. They are
That
gonna they are
we're
gonna
gonna
run
be
into a
creator HR.
yeah, for bringing me in for that damn position and giving it to a 50-year-old white man. They still owe me for that shit. Um, I do think that like more creators on the app creates and they've gotten rid of all their programming that used to help kind of
Mhm.
silo that ecosystem, funnel through, keep the good people online. Not that it necessarily got rid of like the bad players or the bad faith actors, but made it possible for more creators who were diverse and engaging different audiences to really survive on that platform. And without those creator programs, a lot of people are going to come and a lot of people are not going to maintain.
So I have just because I've been dealing with YouTube corporate now for 2 years, back and forth, my like pessimist, I think this is a pessimist view. My pessimist view, and I'm usually less pessimistic and more realistic, is something has changed in the water at YouTube corporate. Unfortunately, their longtime CEO, she passed away last year. There's some random man running it now, where they're so focused on AI that they don't even see the creator like as a partner. They don't see like, oh, without the creator, this platform doesn't
That's
run.
an alphabet thing because I too have a friend that works in finance at Google, and he was telling me this like a year ago. He's like, YouTube is their most profitable product, and they are taking
Mm-hmm.
all that money from YouTube and dumping it into AI because they're trying to compete on a global development scale. But in
Mm-hmm.
order to like, if we're gonna like play in capitalism, like why wouldn't you make your most profitable product more profitable
And I
at a
think
crucial
so.
time like this?
So my answer would be like funding the creators more would then increase the profit. However, I think give them like 6 to 9 months, maybe they'll get there. I think the first 6 to 9 months, they're going to see how little they can spend and how much, especially like the new wave of creators and the old creators will continue to run on the hamster wheel with nothing. They're like, okay, well, why should we give y'all anything? Y'all will do it anyway.
I will say I am incredibly sad because I do have friends that work at TikTok.
I have been thinking about the
And
7,000 employees. I
that's
feel
who
bad for them.
I'm like y'all creators.
Y'all be all right.
No bars, but the employees,
The
I
employees
am
are really
much more like, damn, this is like a wild job market to try to, but maybe I don't know. YouTube should be hiring.
they are not.
They're not, but they should
They're
be.
on a silent hiring freeze. And
They've
I
been
only
on
know
that
because I
since
poked
like
around.
they've been on that since end of 2023.
It's
When they did
fascinating. I'm
all
like,
those
y'all
layoffs.
have money. Yeah, I'm like, what are y'all
It's
Google
all going to
now does
AI.
Yeah, they do rolling layoffs at Google now, which this was unprecedented before 2022. Now, because it made the news in 2022 when people are like, tech is having layoffs, what the hell? This is wild. So now they do rolling every year, they do small layoffs by department so that way it doesn't make the news.
Mm.
It's I have a few friends that like work at Google too. So I feel extremely bad for the TikTok employees. There's 7,000 US TikTok employees. This is the worst. Fuck the DNC and what they've been lying and telling people. This is an awful labor economy, particularly for the tech sector. Like, where are all these people going to go? Which I feel really bad. I feel really bad for them,
You can find
particularly if you
these
don't live in the
people that
state without.
offer different content. You can find them on Instagram. You can find them on Pinterest. You can, I mean, if you want to go over to Red Note, I will not be there. Y'all have fun. Red Book, Red Note, whatever the hell. I'm not manufacturing another. No, I'm good. If it organically happens, I'll slide my way over there. But y'all have fun with that. You
Yeah.
can find them on
I
Pinterest.
think TikTok. Yeah, I'm not TikTok. Sorry, I think YouTube will still be the home of like good content. I think this will actually force people into either doing it or just accepting that something else has to get done. I think that's what's going to happen. It's
Instagram
going to
is
be interesting couple months.
Instagram is only a week behind on TikTok
Mhm.
content, so maybe now it won't be a week behind.
Instagram algorithm is awful though. Like Instagram, with
uh,
Instagram sent me a notification when the reel that I cut up with me and AG Eric Holder from Complexion Law, I cut up the reel. Of course, people are ruthless, so all the repost pages like just stole the reel and acted as if it was theirs. So Instagram, like 6 weeks later, in an effort to be like, see, we're trying to help you, was like, oh, we're promoting your original content more than the reposted one. I was like, why don't you just take down the damn reposted one? I didn't say I wanted it.
okay,
Well,
guys. Well, this is a kind of an abbreviate. We didn't. Did we make it? No, we didn't make it a whole hour. We did an hour. We did it. Okay. We'll have.
including the technical difficulties, the
Are we gonna
first
do one on
50.
Monday because it's a holiday?
Yes, we have to do it on Monday because
Okay, we are doing it on Monday.
Monday is
Yes.
the inauguration of the Orange Man.
Yes.
So we
Okay.
have to come together and weep.
Okay. So Monday, and we'll have more links Monday because wow.
Hey, what an interesting day. Time to
You
be
got
alive. Oh God. It's time to, support your local library and also buy paper books because we are months away from them just removing digital books that they don't like. Like, nah, don't let them read that anymore. No, no, no. Audiobook, no, 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 no.
All right,
Yeah.
y'all. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you for tuning
Yeah.
in. Deuces.